Hi guys, so I am back to do this spread. If you watched my last video, the one before today's other video, I did a spread called Harmony to try to figure out how to bring my son and my husband kind of back together before we went on vacation, and because my husband actually was not allowed to go on vacation, and so how to do that, and when I went, I was hoping to be able to spread harmony. And the last card that was pulled, that was supposed to be, this is how you bring things together. Why does it seem like I'm blurry? Am I blurry? Yeah, that's maybe better. Maybe it's the light behind me, I don't know. The last card that was pulled was the Three of Swords, heartache. So I took that to mean that there is no answer, and what it actually turned out to be is that I was going to have heartache if I went, which I did. I ended up getting into a huge thing, even though I told myself I was going to try to stay out of their financial situation, which is that mostly my son PJ, who is 15 months younger than my oldest Frank. Frank is in the Navy. He has a good job. He's an intelligence specialist. And he so far has been paying for all the bills, and all the rest of my boys have been living with him. And PJ has lived there for over a year and has like hardly paid anything. And now his girlfriend has lived there for close to a year and has not paid hardly anything. So my husband, when they moved from Virginia to Boston, the Boston area, ended up getting into it with PJ and his girlfriend. And it was a really bad blow-up fight, and they both probably said things they didn't mean, so I was trying to put them back together. And my son PJ said my husband isn't allowed at the house because he paid a week of rent finally. And so he said, as a paying person in the house, he was not going to allow my husband there, which kind of threw everything into a turmoil. I didn't really feel like going, but I wanted to see the kids and whatever. So I went, hoping that I would be able to kind of smooth things over a little bit anyway, so that when we wanted to go back in October, because they live about an hour away from Salem, so I'm really hoping to be able to go there for Samhain. Well, I'm going there for Samhain. I don't care what happens, but anyways, what ended up happening is that my other son Dustin has not been able to pay much of anything. He just got a job, and his girlfriend is also living there, and she's had a job for a little over a week now. And while we were there, I was going to take them all to Applebee's, and instead they didn't come home and snuck away, and we found out that they had gone to Applebee's without us and spent money that they shouldn't have been spending. They should have been giving Frank for rent, because Frank has paid for everything, all of their food. He paid for all the down deposit, the deposit on the apartment. He's paid for all the food. He's paid to turn the electric on. He's paid for the cable. Everything he has paid for, and they have not paid anything yet. So as far as Frank was concerned, any money that they got should have gone to him. Now, they didn't know that we were going to take them out to dinner because I was there on vacation, but it's like they snuck away to spend this money that they should have been giving Frank. But I tried to stay out of that because I thought, this is exactly what Peter did. I'm not going to get into it. Except that they literally gave him such a huge attitude that, of course, it drove me crazy. But I held my time, like, everybody calm down, everybody calm down. I tried to stay calm. And then Frank kept saying, no, you don't understand, because the girlfriend and Dustin were saying, so every bit of money that we have, we're supposed to give you. We're not supposed to give any money for ourselves. And he said, yeah, until you pay. Let me grab that with my clarifier card. Until you pay your rent to me, everything else should, once you pay your rent to me, then do what you want with your money. I don't care. But you should be paying your rent to me. You should not be going out to eat, certainly. I mean, if they were hungry, Frank would have bought food for the house. But instead, they spend it going out. You know what I'm saying? It's like the sneaky, they snuck out to And Frank was like, then I guess you need to move back home. And Dustin is like, I'm sitting there trying to calm everyone down. And Dustin screams back at him, the only place living, yeah, I would, except the only thing worse than living with you is living with mom and dad. Now I know things were heated at the time, but Dustin especially, we have, not Dustin especially, all 4 of our boys, we have really tried to give them as much as we could. Probably to the point of maybe too much, because PJ is an addict and we have given him, you know, to the point of enabling for a little while, and then I put an end to it. Unfortunately now his brother is kind of enabling him too, but he's trying to stop that. The other thing was that PJ, the son that is an addict and all that, literally I know he had to work, and I was planning on staying until Sunday or Monday anyways, because he didn't have to work Sunday or Monday. But when he was home, they locked themselves up in the room, their bedroom, the entire time I was there. He came out like an hour before he had to go to work and put on a sports thing and wouldn't even look at me. And Frank looked at him and said, you know, Mom's here. How about you turn the sports off for half an hour and talk to your mother, who's came here specifically to see you? And nothing. He totally ignored Frank like he wasn't speaking. So I honestly, I don't know. I was heartbroken, and now I'm a little miffed and pissed, and that is the short version. So the 3 of Swords that I had pulled was really my heartache. Because once again, you know, and if any of you are parents, or if you're not parents, I mean, everybody knows what it's like. It feels, sometimes it just feels like you give everything you possibly can, especially to your kids. And I would never take that away. It's not like I'm going to stop giving everything I can. I'm still going to give everything I can, because I'm his mother and I love him unconditionally, even when I want to beat the shit out of him. But it feels like sometimes you're like, you know, they make you question yourself. So I'm thinking the whole time, I'm thinking, what did I do? What did I not do for him? How should his childhood have been that he hates me so much? I don't know. I did the best I could. Was I a perfect mother? Absolutely not. I'll be the first to admit that. At the same time, I always did everything I could, and I always made sure they had before I had anything. So, the spread I'm going to do after all that is one that I found in Benebell Wen's book, Holistic Tarot. And it is called the Insight Spread. So I thought this would be a good one. The Insight Spread, I put my goddess horns on. See my goddess horns? Because I'm the goddess, and I'm going to treat myself as one until I go back to work at least. The Insight Spread, inspired by the S-curve or sigmoid function, uses between 8 and 10 cards. A signifier card is used, and the first card drawn, card 1, is placed over. So I chose for my signifier card because I've chosen, since I chose the 3 of Swords, that's what I'm using, the 3 of Swords. Since I chose the 3 of Swords for that harmony spread, I have picked this card 4 times since then, which was last Wednesday, so it hasn't even been a week. So 4 times in less than a week I have picked this card. So for right now, I feel like that's my signifier card, apparently, that it just keeps coming up. So I'm choosing that for my signifier card. For one thing, because then it just shows that's me. I know that's me. Let's move on. I don't want to choose it again for a while. So this is on, if you have this book, Holistic Tarot. It's a wonderful book. I totally recommend it. I use it all the time. Page 331 this is called the Insight Spread. Card 1 indicates the situation or energies presently occupying the seeker's life. Okay, so this is the situation or energies currently occupying my life. This is the 2 of Pentacles. So, the current thing occupying my life is, which to me that can indicate one of 2 things. Either what I'm focusing on and what I've told myself I want to focus on, for now anyways, until I kind of lick my wounds, is my relationship with my husband, which that could indicate, my relationship with my son who's here, my youngest son, and the good relationships that I have. That's what I'm focused on. I can't focus on the ones that I can't fix right now, so I just need to focus on the good ones. And that's pretty good card. Card 1 represents the most prevalent forces in the presence. So the most prevalent forces is the relationships that I have that are good. The relationship with my husband, the relationship with my youngest son, the relationship with my oldest son, the relationship with the group of girlfriends that I have from work that have been right there for me and supportive, and for all of you who have been right there and supportive. And I have to say, by the way, if you are one of those people, I really thank you, because I have gotten tons of messages from people just saying, hey, you know, I'm here for you if you need anybody to talk to. I really do appreciate that, and I really do see you and appreciate that you're supporting. So thank you. It means a lot. Card 2 indicates what crosses the seeker's path, the challenges the seeker currently faces, and the obstacle the seeker must overcome in the immediate future. In the immediate future. So this is the 8 of Wands. Isn't that a great 8 of Wands? By the way, just so you know, the deck that we are using is the Santa Muerta Tarot, which I adore. I really, when I got this deck, I thought, oh, it's, you know, it's a great deck for Halloween-y time, for Samhain time, for the fall, to bring out with the skulls and everything. This deck, to me, is such a loving, it is very straight and to the point. It's not a frou-frou deck, for sure. But it is an in-your-face way of, see the Santa Muerta, see her on the front? She's pregnant, she's motherly. At the same time, she's telling you exactly what the situation is and what you need to do to fix that. She has no ifs, ands, or buts. She's very good about telling the facts the way they are. So I love this deck. So to me, the 8 of Wands. All right, so the immediate challenge, the immediate obstacle that I need to overcome is movement, which again is to move forward. For me, this is a definite step to just move forward, to leave that whole situation in the past, because there is nothing, and I mean nothing, and I don't feel, I really have thought about this the last couple days, there's nothing I can do about that right now. There is no amount of calling, writing. I thought about it for a while. I could write him a letter about how much I care about him, how much I love him, how much I would do anything for him. But that is my ego saying, of course I was a good mother. Who the F do you think you are for telling me I'm not a good mother? I know I was a good mother. Ego is not something I want to lead with, because the ego doesn't know what the hell it's doing. And there's no reason for the ego to do that other than to prop itself up. And I think deep down my kids know that. And they know that I did the best I could. They know that I'm still trying to do the best I can for them. So for me to do that would just be me propping myself up. I need to step forward. Away from this situation. I need to leave it in the past. It's time to step forward. That movement is bye-bye. Leave it in the past. And that really means let go of it in the past and move beyond it. It's time now. You did your couple days of wallowing. It's time to move past this. Cards 3 and 4. So that was 1 and 2. See right in the middle there, right on top. Cards 3 and 4 represent past influences that still have a hold on the seeker. These two cards are read as a pair. Examine how they complement or conflict with each other, strengthen or weaken. So that is to the bottom left here. Cards 3 and 4. Okay, so where am I? Cards 3 and 4 are read past influences that still have a hold. These two cards are read as a pair. So they are the 3 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. Very interesting. Okay, so are read together. 3 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so to me, the Three of Cups is that celebration and stuff. So again, what am I living in the past? Past influences that still have a hold is when my kids lived with me, what I perceived to be a happy environment. Not that we were always happy. I would never pretend to say everything was wonderful. I was Mary Poppins. That's not the case. But I did the best I could in my house. And to me, that's, I feel like, and I think I even said to my oldest and youngest son in talking about it, did you guys grow up in the same household that I feel like we raised you in? Because I feel like, I don't know what house they grew up in. It was not like that in our household. So to me, this is what I perceive to be, that's our past influences. The Five of Pentacles, to me, that's him shitting all over my vision. Not him, but both of them. My two middle sons. Shitting all over, stomping on my vision of what I thought our house was like. Those past influences, to me, were absolutely not perfect. So again, if I am honest in my review of what happened in our household, it was absolutely not perfect. There was a lot of arguing and fighting. We're very passionate people. I'm Irish, my husband is Italian. We're very passionate people. I speak loud, much less yell loud. I do. But my version of that in my head, I feel like they are tramping on that. And so that I really read that together like that. Card 5 is to the left of that card here. Again, way over there. And that says, represents lessons not yet learned. These could be the skeletons in the seeker's closet, unresolved matters from the past, or the mistakes that the seeker seems to make over and over again. They represent a recurring theme that continues in the seeker's life that has had a spiritual significance. Lessons that I have not learned. Queen of Swords. I would like to think that sometimes I am the Queen of Swords. I think I often try to portray myself as the Queen of Swords. And maybe that's partly why I feel like I am more open than other people. Like I will say more on my channel than a lot of people will not delve into their personal business as much. I know people have said to me, you're very courageous for being honest. To me, part of that is this. Part of that is I try to portray that strong outlook of, look, I just think through a situation, this is just the way it is, and that's the end of the story. I do not portray weakness very much, which is funny because I will cry at sad commercials. I'm a huge crier. I cry a lot out of frustration more than anything, I think, but I do not like to open myself up to weakness, which is maybe a lesson that I need to learn, that there's a difference between crying and being an empath and feeling and saying that you feel that pain and actually opening yourself up. And you have to open that chest cavity up to allow them to pull your heart out and do what you want with it. I think I pretend like I do that, but maybe when I hand my heart over, I'm handing it over in a metal box. And that's a lesson that I don't think I've learned to accept. I don't ask for help very easily. I don't, for myself. I don't open myself up to that. I always have this barrier of protection. And I think that's a lesson that I may need to learn. Cards 6 and 7 represent the most probable outcome or coming future. If they are negative, they represent continued obstacles that I must face to reach the desired result. If they are positive, they represent the reinforcing energies that support the seeker towards his or her goals. 6 and 7, positive. The Hierophant. And the Ace of Swords. To me, both of those things are positive cards. So 6 and 7 represent the most probable outcome. So the most probable outcome, the Hierophant to me is that spiritual guidance. And I don't necessarily always think of the Hierophant as a person I get guidance from. It is from the universe's connections, from my ancestors, from my guardians that I call on, from the goddesses and gods that I call on. That spiritual truth that I try to pull from the earth, wherever that is, that spiritual entity that I learn from. And the Ace of Swords is the ultimate thinking. It's, you know, swords is thinking suit. So now we're talking about allowing, wait, what did they say about the positive first? If they're positive, they represent the reinforcing energies that support the seeker towards her goals. So again, call on my gods and goddesses, call on the universe, the earth's energies to help me learn whatever it is these lessons is that I need. And one of the lessons that I need has to do with the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Again, funny that they both came up in that context of I need to really learn. I know myself emotionally, but sometimes the thinking part actually has to come in there. And I very often will say women, you know, think with their emotion, and I do not give logic and laws, and I don't give that a whole lot of thought when I am dealing with my emotion. To me, I'm like, my emotion, my intuition will tell me what to do, and I don't think about that part of it, the logistical pieces of this is how I need to heal. And so perhaps the spiritual realm has a lot to teach me about the actual thinking part of, you know, logically, this is how you need to deal with this situation. I like it. Card 8 represents the seeker's future self. It embodies the characteristics the seeker will take on, or the life the seeker will lead based on the past and present influences. So the Knight of Wands, which is very much how I see myself now. It's funny that maybe I'll be even more so. That creative spirit, that creative energy, that seeking of the Knight of Wands to me is, you know, I've taken the energy that I've gleaned from what I know, and now I will go out into the world and begin to soak up the energy that I need to teach, which ultimately is my goal, is to be the teacher self. So my future self embodies the characteristics the seeker will take on. So it's still, to me, that says I'm still me, but perhaps I'm just a little bit wiser me. Instead of maybe being the Page of Wands, now I'm up to the Knight of Wands. I'm a little bit wiser. I've done a little bit more. I've had a little bit more experience in it. The practitioner can stop here for an 8-card reading, or additional cards may be drawn. 9 and 10 are optional and set down last in insight reading. Card 9 is the shadow card. I'm definitely going to do a shadow card. King of Wands is my shadow. And King of Wands. I was going to say my husband, but I don't think that's my husband. The shadow to me is maybe thinking that I know everything about the situation already. Thinking that I am smarter than the situation at hand, that I have all the information I need to creatively know instinctually that fire energy behind me. That shadow side is I may need a little more work in emotions than I think. I think I'm already developed all the way that way. Card 10. When positive, represents the seeker's hopes, dreams, and aspirations. When negative, it represents the seeker's fears. So card 10 is 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords. So when positive, it represents the seeker's hopes, dreams, and aspirations, which my hopes, dreams, and aspiration for this whole situation is that I personally and my sons can move on in their lives in a way that allows them to be the happiest they are. And so that 6 of Swords, it's funny. Perhaps there's a move either for my husband and I in the future or for PJ and Dustin in the future, and that brings them where they want to be in life. Yay! Less than half an hour, guys. That's pretty good for this reading. I love it. So I have one more day off tomorrow. I will try to do another, I have a couple more videos that I wanted to do while I was on vacation. I will try to do at least one more tomorrow. And I hope you guys are having a great week. And I'm back to work on Thursday. And oh, by the way, I have to say, this tarot, 24-hour tarot thing, if you haven't heard about it, look on For Love of Cards. Simon did a post. Simon from the Hermit's Cave. He talks about it on his channel, the Hermit's Cave channel. They're doing a 24-hour live tarot discussion, like about all kinds of different tarot topics, and I'm really excited about it. It's Sunday, July 29th, I believe it is, until Monday morning. So yay, that sounds awesome. I'm really psyched to see it, and excited. All the different speakers on it look like they are going to be great speakers, and most of them I do know, some of them I don't, but check it out if you haven't. Yay! So blessings. Love you guys.